Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we do this webinar. Good morning, traders. Welcome. We do this webinar every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. It's the live forward-looking analysis, and the goal is to educate you in the live market on order flow, and at a very, very high level. So what we offer is an educational course. So that is the precursor to this live webinar. So learn from the course and then apply it to the live webinar. And then we also have live trading from Jay Trader, a stocks trader, on Wednesday, and live trading from Scott Pulcini, a futures trader, on Thursday. You might have seen it yesterday. So let's go through the risk disclosures, and we'll jump right in. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so we just had some data this morning. What was it here? We had core retail sales or retail sales, and kind of a muted number there, actually a little negative on the core, or I'm sorry, the retail sales. The core was actually in line, or I'm sorry, it was it was positive. Anyway, we got some market movement out of it, so let's take a look here and see what's going on. All right, so we see the move to the downside here in this S&P, right into high liquidity at 70 and 60. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit here, and let me clear the charts, and let's take a look at what's going on in here. All right, so what's happening in the order flow right now? Let me get rid of that and put in stops and icebergs. Okay, well, you can see from 5 a.m. here the move to the upside, continuation of the move to the upside, right into beautiful move, just beautiful strong moves into 15, 20, 25 up here, a little bit higher, 30, but never got up to the 50 level up here. All right, so and then we can see the move down, pretty wicked move here, 9:30 a.m. We see the some back and forth here. The move up looking like a great continuation on up into trend continuation on up into 50. Well, that was the hook, and you can see what happened here, and the breakdown below, and the continuation after the data here of retail sales. All right, so where does this take us from here? Well, let's I want to revisit. We talked last time about patterns, and then I kind of floated this idea of very non-traditional pattern I wanted to take a look at, and I wanted you guys to go through and what you thought here, to look at it in a very different way. A pattern, very, very simple pattern. Okay, who's in control of the market? Now this will create the foundation and the mindset here in order flow, so let's go through this again, and we'll extrapolate. We did this some weeks ago as well. We'll extrapolate it to the higher time frame. Okay, there's a beautiful area right in here at 3690, and let me talk more about it in just a second here. We'll get rid of the trend line, in fact. All right, so mark up your charts, mark up your book map. Let's go to the drawing tools. Let's go to rectangle. Okay, and right here at 8:45, look at this powerful strong move here. Okay, in fact, there's kind of one followed by another, but we'll just mark it all the way up, and then I'll mark this little area in here as well. Okay, because that's where it kind of paused for a minute. Another kind of strong move in here, right, followed by this one here. Now let's take a look at the sell side. Okay, where are the strong? We're just looking for the strong moves, right? Well, the strong move is here, of course, followed by another one, and this one is data related. Okay, economic release of retail sales. And now we can start to mark up some areas in here and some of these lines in here. Okay, so I mentioned this 3690. Okay, this is why. Look where we broke out from right here, and we see buyers. Look at the sellers pound it down to this area, and then some back and forth in here, and it was a continuation pattern. In fact, if you look at this pattern, what is this pattern, guys? What do you think? Okay, from about 940 on. So just hit us up in the questions there, in the chat, and also in hold on a minute here, in Discord. Let me get to there. All right. Okay, so this was the 5 truths. Slow down, you put in the 5 truths. That was from that trading in the zone. Yep, excellent. And then good morning, Rob. Good morning, McLoco. All right, so guys, what does this pattern look like to you guys? Okay, very simple, straightforward pattern here. Okay, you probably read it in the first trading book that you got. At least I did. Yep, AC, correct. And McLoco, bear flag. Guys, look for these bulls and bear flags. It's a continuation pattern, of course. But what we want to mark up and look at is the strong move. Okay? This is going to be really helpful for you. Who's in control in these moves? Because and look at the pullbacks in some of these moves in here. This is strong selling in here, and then look where this pullback came. Okay, just below the swing here. These things line up in the charts, and there are reasons for it. In fact, it's a low volume node. Why is it a low volume node here? This doesn't just exist in a vacuum here. This came up, your profile in your low volume node came up because of this strong move away from all of this here. And then a pullback to it and a rejection from this area. Price didn't like sticking around here at 36.95 any longer. And then we look for the continuation. Now, the continuation is a little more, it's very straightforward. Here it is, right? Let's see if we get more continuation here, and a continuation down to 35 now. All right, so sorry guys, I want to cover that. This is another strong move, so we're looking for the continuation. Okay, the next one down to here. All right, you could have jumped in right in here to fall, and your stop could already be at break even on something like that. When you start to notice who's in control, and then the continuation of taking control. Okay, we've gone through this for years. Okay, but we look for these on the bigger, higher time frame. Okay, so we can mark them up, and we can start to understand these levels in here, and this is going to be really helpful. Now look where we came down here, about half of that move in here. Okay, so in fact, let's just mark this one up, and let's get rid of this one. And let's move this one here. Okay, this would be more like a measured move here. Actually, this is the measured move, to be honest. Okay, it already did it. Yeah, I'm still looking though for 35 because the liquidity is down here. Okay, so you can even see some profit taking right there. Right, you can, we're trying to, we're marking these things up and, maybe erroneously justifying that this is profit taking in there, from that measured move. But what is undeniable is that there's a stronger move here on that sell side. Okay, and it's a continuation. All right, so look for these areas in here, and we want to first identify them by marking them up. Okay, this will set the structure on all time frames here. Okay, not just this very small time frame for the day here. All right, so let's go back and let's look at this chart. All right, this is our 15-minute chart on the right, a candlestick chart, 1 hour in the middle, and then our daily here on the left. On the daily, this is a pullback in a well, it depends on how you want to look at it here. Yesterday we had just all sorts of crazy action. We had the CPI data, the move to the downside, and then the cash open here. Look at this cash open. Amazing. Went to the downside, and then look at that rocket move to the upside. Okay, this was obviously some data here. It was ECB, and we can see the reaction here. Now, guys, we're just not making this stuff up. It's all in here. Look, why did it come up here? Why did it just came up to this swing up here and it failed? This is actually where it opened up, right? Today, up here. I don't know if did it fill the gap on the overnight? Did it hit 37.50, didn't it? On the overnight? I'm not sure. I would imagine it probably did, and then it opened up here, and then the move lower here. So maybe it didn't, and this gap still remains open here. Okay, but we know one thing for sure is it went above the swing here just slightly, and it rejected pretty harshly. Okay, the hourly chart, we see 2 hours to the downside here. At least this is a developing second hour candle here. All right, so now what I want to do though, what we want to do is we want to look at the strong moves here, and this will start to develop into flag patterns like this. Okay, so that's why we started with this move here. And guys, I know it maybe Tuesday's webinar, or it was Wednesday's webinar might have been kind of simplistic, and maybe you guys were rolling your eyes on some of it, just thinking like this is for kids, yet this is the basis here for understanding a flag pattern. All right, and understanding continuation in the trend pattern here as well. Okay, so we started, and I just jumped in here, noting it right around in here that we're breaking down, looking for 35. Okay, so we've already come pretty close to it. We've come down to 40, a little bit below that. I'm sorry. Let's just zoom in here and be specific. Okay, we're at 40. 3.25, and there's 42. Still looking for our 35 down here. Okay, so anyway, very powerful patterns in here. All right, now we can zoom into much smaller time frames and look for the same thing. This is a continuation to the upside here. Okay, so maybe we'll come back up to about 48 and 3/4 here. Maybe 36.50. Okay, stronger move here, followed by another one. Now it might fail here. It might fail because look at this one here. It's just not. It's strong up to here. It didn't do a full move. All right, so this is not as powerful. And we also know we're in a powerful downtrend right now. Okay, so now we're looking for the continuation to the downside here. All right, so let's see if we can get it here or not. They're buying off of it. Let's see if we can get sellers below here on 44. But anyway, I don't want to drive ourselves nuts in here looking at the smaller time frame. It does extrapolate to the smaller time frame though. Okay, so the yeah, so we're just kind of waiting and watching for 35 here on this smaller time frame. All right, the anyway, identifying these larger moves in here works on all time frames. Okay, look at the candles in here. Look at this very powerful move here. Look at the pullback here, and then look at continuation to the upside. All right, so now we're pulling back now here today, back into these areas here. Okay, so just looking at some of those areas in here, Yeah, I'd be looking for these sellers. This is a strong move here on that sell side today. Look, we're taking a bit of a pause here, and let's see if we can get down to here, just right here, 36, 32 and a half. Okay, maybe a little lower, 31. Let's call it 31. All right, looking for a test down to there. And then maybe will even get a continuation on down to the next level. Okay, it's going to be the top of this range here at 18. Maybe it comes back and then it trades in this huge big range here from all that back and forth yesterday. Or I'm sorry, that was on Tuesday. This was a tough day here. That was FOMC and oh god, I can't even keep my day straight. Anyway, it was a tough day, a lot of back and forth. Yeah, let's see if we can get to the bottom of the range here. Maybe around 83 or so. All right, now that's going through the scenarios based on this 15-minute chart and looking for pullbacks, or I'm sorry, continuation moves here. Now on the hourly chart, we see the strong move is here, and yeah, it looks pretty good actually on the hourly. Back to 18 seems pretty plausible here. All right, now what about the daily chart over here? Okay, where are the strong moves? Well, here's one here. Some back and forth in here at this point, but we see the gap and the move up here. That'll also be a strong move, but it was immediately countered by a strong move to the downside. Okay, so this one is a lot more convoluted on the daily chart in here. When we see these kinds of moves in here on the daily chart, it's pretty straightforward. You look for that continuation into areas where you found buyers coming in. Right, same ideas, same concepts here we're looking at in all time frames. Okay, so let's go back here. What were we saying in here? 35, right? We've already tested into it and below it here. Okay, so we were looking for that move to unfold here around 57 or so, 50. Let's call it even like 56. Who cares? I mean, it was a continuation move. It was a strong move, right? It's still a strong move. Okay, so let's go through this and start to look at this pattern on the smaller time frames. All right, and so we'll put it to the test in here. Okay, the larger time frames are typically easier because you look for that move to unfold on the larger time frame, and it's already set. We already know the direction here. We've already clearly identified it, and we're looking for continuation. Yeah, another reason for our 35, is that measured move that we had mentioned in here. Something like that, to be precise. Okay, so it's actually below 35. It would be more down to here, around 26 or so. All right. Now there's reasons for measured moves too. I don't want to go into that right now. We've covered it many times in the past. Okay, so it's just the market activity and how much pressure the market may have. Okay, so yeah, I imagine there's going to be some covering. We're down to about 20, almost to our 26, 27 level here, and liquidity's here at 25 though. McLoco, you're seeing some divergence. All right, favoring the upside. Okay, I mean, this is where I really struggle with the CVD. I really do. It might be doing something now. Now I'm starting to like it. So it's looking a little bit better here. So let's see if we can get buyers and retest back up to, there we go. I was just about to say 34. Okay, so there's a move there. Okay, now that's a strong move, right? So but it's still within this range here. It's not outside of the range in a continuation. And that makes a big difference. Okay, we're still in this range here. Okay, we see that. Okay, now let's see if they can break it and then move up to maybe here, 40. Okay, first move should be about here. It's already done it, and let's see if they can do it now. Okay, so anyway, like I said, all time frames here. Okay, so this would be, well, this is a small flag in here off of this small range here. Here's your breakout, here's your pullback, there's your continuation. Done. Okay, so look for these things. In this case, McLoco, your CVD divergence, this might be a good area to, I mean, you got to study it. Like I said, you said around 18 you're looking for. Around 10:18, I see the timestamp there. So you saw divergences in here, I think, right? And then it continued. But here, there was pretty good divergence, but there was some reasoning for it. Like it had completed its measured move here in essence. Okay, all I'm trying to do is help bring more confluence into your CVD reading. That's it. Right, when you have more things aligned with your CVD reading, then it's more plausible for it to unfold. All right, I hope that helps. Okay, so you can see what we've done now. There was two moves in here, and we got our flag pattern. In fact, we're still kind of looking. This is a skewed flag here, very skewed. It's not correct technically, but it's move one, pull back, and then move two. I put it up to here just because that's where we drop from here, and that's where the liquidity is here up at 40. Okay, so now we need to see. Now we're gonna talk more about the relative volume in here. Okay, this is an important thing to understand as well. We've talked about it many times in the past about looking at the pressures and the selling over here compared to the buying over here. Okay, so let's see if these buyers can lift it right now, and we'll get another flag pattern kind of basically up to about here. There's our break. Now we need to see a continuation. And it's not. It's not. So yeah, it's not. I don't know if this is quite a flag pattern actually. But it's a breakout, and it's a failed breakout at this point. Okay, down to the bottom of the range, and I'm curious now. Let's see if we can get back up here by that buy side, and then back up to 40. Okay, now if we can't, and we see sellers on this at this bottom area here. Yeah, there we are. All right, let's see if these sellers can actually push it now. 27 and 25. Okay, so following that failed breakout, now looking for sellers to try to move it on the downside here. Okay, anyway, we'll just continue to look at these patterns here. We won't go through that. We'll just go through the strong moves, pullbacks, and strong moves. Okay, so now here's a move down. It's immediately countered. Now it's kind of equal move on each side here. So this is a false breakdown right now. Right, what we're looking for in the flag pattern, or I don't even want to call it a flag pattern, but I want to identify the players and the stronger moves and the vertical moves here. That's my goal here. And what this would look like if that is the powerful strong move here, okay, is that we would see this, and we'd see a low volume pullback here. Now we see the volume in here. Okay, that's not a low volume pullback. Okay, so actually what it did was it broke above that selling, and then we've seen this a million times, right? There's our pivot point right here at 31, or I'm sorry, 30 and a quarter, and then it bounced off of that, and now the move to the upside down up to 40. Okay, so that's what it had to do in here. It had to go all this back and forth in here. Now here's our flag pattern here, guys. God, I'm sorry I missed it. Should have tried to go through it here. We see a bunch actually. Here's one followed by another. Okay, another pullback here, and then another breakout here. Okay, followed by another. All right. So you see this again and again and again. Identify the strong move, look for the pullback, low volume pullback, look for the continuation. Okay. Now, the low volume pullback, McLoco, that's going to give you your CVD continuation pattern. It's not going to be a divergence. And you want that. You want that in there. You want to see, like, even if you see a strong move, or I'm sorry, if you see a move that comes down pretty low here, like let's say on this area here, if you see the move come down all the way back down to here, or even where it initiated from, but you see it on very low sell volume, okay, then you would have your divergence that you're looking for. Okay, just be careful with it, because there is a caveat in there. If price can come all the way back down here, and then sellers can maybe try to take control here and then really move it, right? That's what you want to be aware of that. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Okay, so buyers still in control here, right, in this move. Okay, now we just broke down. And now let's look on the other side here. What about this selling in here? Is countered by buyers here. No, don't like it. Don't like it. Let me get to some questions here in YouTube. Guys, sorry, I've kind of neglected you there for a minute. Oh, you can filter for the CVD right now in here. That's you can even compare them back and forth. AC. That's a great question. Let me demo this for you guys. McLoco, you might want to be interested in. You might be interested in this as well. Guys, look at this. We don't know here what's, there's strong moves on both sides here. I mean, it's a bit of a low volume pullback, but this is what I was talking about being careful with the low volume pullbacks when it retraces all the way here. We'll go through this example right now, because this is important, and it'll help you filter for this pattern that we're talking about. Okay, here's the pattern. Strong move, selling, no question about it, right? All right, well, here we retrace here. Okay, and then we're looking for sellers again here to really drop it. Now we got some, but I bet anything there's an iceberg there. The iceberg was earlier. Okay, and we didn't get the continuation. We came all the way back up here, and let's look at the volume in here. Okay, you can look at CVD as well, right here in front of us. Strong move, low volume pullback all the way back here. That's huge divergence, huge, right? You would be looking for the continuation here if you're so only looking at your divergences in here. Okay, now it doesn't matter even if it's a low volume pullback up to the and retraces all the way here. It doesn't take a lot of buying to move it back up and then have all these sellers have to be stopped out, and we can verify that. Here they are. Here's the stop run, and there it is there. Right here we have an ignition algo as well, potentially, or maybe they're just chasing. It looks like they're chasing. It's not ignition, but it kind of worked as both, to be honest. It did ignite and they did get filled, so they got the best of both worlds on that one, unless they were short and covering. Yeah, so anyway, does that make sense? This is the big caveat on this, understanding these strong moves in here. Big caveat. All right, on these 100% retracements. See how this area has turned in now to a battleground here, just around there. Hold on, here. All right, around 44. KH, yeah, maybe you can, you might have to come over to Discord in the advanced webinar text room and then paste if you want to look at a specific image. Hey, Al, how are you? Nice to see you. Let's see. You're confused on how to spot low volume pullback. Okay, really simple. Guys, today's we got Al in here. Al's a very accomplished trader, and he's rolling his eyes, I'm sure. We're covering very basic things in here, but I want you guys to be able to hang your hat on some of these things in here and be able to have a structure to look at. That's what I want. And then you can look at all sorts of stuff within that structure. All right, that's really what I want in here. You can start by marking your charts up from just the higher time frame. Who's in control in areas here? Obviously, in this move here, very powerful move to the upside. Okay, continuation. Today we had the move to the downside. Guys, what were we talking about here on the move to the downside? Here, right? 31. We talked about 31, right? We were looking for liquidity around that area as well. We've spiked to it already. We're starting to find some buying or at least some covering maybe after this strong move to the downside. And now we're looking for, are we going to get a continuation and then back down into our 18 level? Okay, so you'll just see this again and again, let's take a look at some structure in here. All right, so we're looking still for let's see if we can get continuation on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so or on the hourly chart, it's conflicting. Right now we know it's a strong move to the upside and then a pullback here, and then it's kind of bouncing. It might bounce off of this area and come back up into the range up here. Okay, and there's all sorts of reasons for it. Right, we have fundamental reasons for it doing that. Okay, whatever you're looking at, you can also look at the chart. It's telling you as well. All right, so what we want to understand though is who's in control in some of these moves. It will set the tone, right? And this is order flow. Once we start to understand these moves, look for the continuation. So here we go. Here's now we're starting to get something to take a look at here. Okay, so we have some pretty strong buying here, we do see it did come up to the 36.50. Okay, and we see buying coming in again here. Let's zoom in here and let's look for it. All right, let's see it, buyers. Let's see you do it then. Back up to 36.50. Okay. Okay, we're leaning on this strong volume in here for it to come back up into this 36.50. Okay, does that make sense? I mean, like it's all of this activity here from previous buyers and sellers in here. Okay, so and these little hooks in here, see how this is like it just dupes you, right? Gets you to shake you out of your position, but go with the stronger move here. Go with the stronger move. Okay, we're still like bullish here, unless we see something very different, right? And that we got to be prepared for that. Okay, there's one thing about this, one thing for sure we can count on in here. What is it that when you take a trade, what is it that you are sure that is a part of the trade? Okay, I'm not phrasing that quite right, but what's a part of trading? What is exactly, Alaman? That's exactly what I was looking for. Putting on risk. No matter what you do, there is risk. Okay, you cannot avoid it. right? So we can talk about all these patterns and all this kind of stuff in here. We're looking for a higher probability move based on the activity of traders. That's the order flow part that we're looking for. Okay, so now this one's not working out, right? It's come back down and below this, and this is the other side of the scenario that we're talking about, and this is obviously going to be a stop run, but no matter what you do, you have risk. So let's just go through some deductive reasoning on that. If risk is a part of every single trade, then we should be really good at risk management. This is a major part of trading. Okay, so just identifying setups and stuff, and then it's exciting looking if it follows through or whatever, but be prepared for the other side of the trade, the risk. Manage your risk, become excellent at risk management. Okay, because this can be, it can do all sorts of things. Maybe in here, maybe there's some algo, okay, that read the volume in here and has the potential to move the market for a very short period, and they see some sort of imbalance in here in the order flow, and then take advantage of that. Okay, now look what's unfolded, right? After going through all of our analysis in here, that's precisely what has unfolded here. Something similar, that it spiked below here, but we're still leaning on all of this in here for that move up higher. Okay, but the risk management part in here is pretty critical. Okay, I'm still looking for it to go higher here. Okay, bounce off of this. All right, so I'm just going with the bigger picture here. Well, let's say the bigger picture is actually moved to the downside. We're going with this picture here from about 10:28 onwards. Okay, and well, let's see if we can get another. Well, we got our two scenarios in here. I'm still looking for buyers to come in and try to pull it back up here. Okay, at least back up to here, about 43. Boy, we got a little bit of volatility in here. We're going to have some icebergs in there. We should. No, not much. Interesting. Interesting iceberg reads today. Beautiful one yesterday, guys, with Scott's webinar. All right, this is not panning out. Okay, sellers are going to coming down to come all the way back down to here, 30, back down to 30 basically. All right, well, yeah, a misread on that, on this move to the upside here. Strong move, but we can look at our pivot point that we drew in at 44 before that move even unfolded. Okay, so yeah, not a good demo on this one, that's for sure. That's okay though. Let's take a look here. I mean, basically what happened is it's a misread on this, and instead we have our strong move here, our flag pattern here, right? Okay, so I thought we'd get this pullback and then continuation. Okay, here come our sellers. All right, Now let's look at the relative volume in here. And let's see, let's just read the order flow here. Read the order flow. This is the more objective we get at reading the order flow in here, the more likely the outcome of the move. Yeah, I'm not, this is if we get enough sellers down here again, then I'm looking for the break here into 25 and 20. And then what, our 18 level, right, on our higher time frame, 17, 18. Let's take a look. Yeah, on this hourly chart here, right? And then we talked about this range in here. So here's our kind of 18 level here, 17, 18, and then you know, bottom of the range here is like what, 85 or so. Okay, so we've come down through that area here. The next level is here. Okay, so yeah, we got the higher time frame here is just so important. Crazy session yesterday, crazy moves to the upside. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it makes me, you know, a little suspicious about that, James. The whole thing. I mean, like after the CPI data and after a big move to the downside, then the ECB comes out with an unscheduled release on interest rates. Is that correct? Is that, I think that's what unfolded, right? And shifted everything. I mean, what's the timing on that, you know? Yeah, there's another misread in here. Not off to a good start today. The other misread in here is our structure that we've talked about for ages. This is a kind of a well, slightly higher high here, but it's a lower high in here, right? That's why I was looking for the flag patterns. The first one here, maybe a pullback and then continuation. But we want to be very, very careful about the. We want to see the structure break. Basically. Okay, so here's a structure break on the smaller time frame right here by buyers. Okay, here's our strong move. Now we're looking for a pullback. Okay, likely back to about 30, to be honest. Okay, there they are. All right, now let's see if we get buyers again though now. No. Okay, they come down all the way back down to where it broke out from. So it can still do this. Okay, we need to see buyers back up above 30 though. If we do, I'm looking for them to come back up and retest the high here, and then maybe we'll get our flag pattern again. Okay, let's clear all our drawings here. Let's look at it. Okay, so I'll take it from 30. It's 100% retracement now. That's what we have to be careful about. Very careful, right? Because that can turn into a pivot, and then we get this back down below. Okay, so these are a lot more tricky. Yeah, not seeing anything good at the moment. But see how we looked at that, and it kept us out of this here. We look for a retracement here, and then like, no, I don't see the buyers coming in yet. All right, so here we're making consistently lower highs in here. Let's see if we get our sellers. All right, I'm looking to see if we can get now our sellers here to finally push through. Okay, and it'll be the bigger move in here is the continuation, the pullback, and then continuation to the downside into our 18 level. All right, so 20s down here, 5 points away. 18 would be about 7 points away. All right, let's see if we get our sellers here and looking for that continuation move. Let's see it, sellers right now, right here, right now. That's what I'm looking for. Sellers, and then now moving this. Now it's this pullback in here and some of this volume. Watch the stop run here. Watch the stop run to the downside. Okay, some icebergs in there as well. Okay, sellers. Oh, they got these buyers on the ropes here. All you have to do is press it, and they got it. Not yet. Okay, well, it still kind of keeps you out of this here. Okay. Now here's something you can kind of look at here as well. See this little move up above? Okay. Well, that turned into our little flag pattern here. Now looking for this to, let's see if we can get it to fail up here. No. No, tricky session here. Okay, so off of this here, I mean, we have all the reasons here to look for the continuation, minus the iceberg buying in here. All right, let's see if we can get sellers back down here at 32. I want to see these, like the stronger move is still here on that sell side. Okay, which also retraced all the way back up here. It could have come up a little bit higher in here. Okay, I'm going to clear the drawings again here. What are icebergs? So icebergs are larger players. I'll zoom in here and show you. Okay, so the order book here is showing you on the COB, current order book. This is showing you liquidity in here. These are sell limit orders. This is the auction. These are buy limit orders here. See, look at this buy limit order here was followed by buying, right? We saw a skew right here in the order book. Limit orders can affect price. In this case, it was followed by some pretty high buying right away. Okay, so these kinds of imbalances in the order book, this is why we have the order book. We want to understand what's going on in here. And how does price react to orders in the order book. Now, if a larger player comes in, see how they, I think it's a spoof in here, but or potential spoof in here. But when an order comes in and it has influence on the market like this, well, if you're a larger player and you spook the market, okay, then you don't want to do that. You're not going to get filled at the levels you want because you're a larger player. You have hundreds of orders, maybe thousands, that you want to get filled. Okay, so you're going to hide those from the limit order book, the COB column here. You're going to hide it from the auction. Only a portion of your order is going to go to the limit order book. So let's suppose you had 100 lots and you don't show it in the order book. You're using an iceberg, but you have to show at least a portion of it. So 10 might go to the order book, and it might be just only 10 in here. And then, but if it hits into it and it fills your 10, then the next portion is sent to the market immediately. Okay, typically they're co-located at the exchange or located at the exchange, and they fill very, very quickly. So this way you can get your 100 lot filled at the price you want more likely than if you showed it in the order book. All right, so if you've used limit orders, on pullbacks looking for a getting filled in a specific area, you guys know what I mean when you don't get filled, or let's say partially get filled. It can be really frustrating. So a lot of traders will use, larger players will use iceberg orders, and it hides their position. Let me get to some of these questions in here. This is Fridays can be kind of a rough day. There's so much back and forth, kind of like this. Like for example, look at this turned into another. Now this is obviously hindsight here, but there's a couple of different areas in here actually, and they're actually playing out pretty nicely here. So price action back and forth, breaks through it, price action back and forth, breaks back up above it, comes back, retests, and then goes higher, and then back and forth, and here breaks it, retests it, and then goes through it, and then it's doing it again here, breaking it, retesting it, and coming back up, right? So it's really kind of all over the place in here, and makes it kind of difficult to demo this strong move and then continuation. Now it works, believe me. It depends on the time frame you want to look at. We're looking at time frames where it has failed. All right, so but identifying the larger and the stronger move is imperative. It's what sets the direction, and that's really what I wanted to demo. Okay, so let me get to questions. Yeah, low volume pullback. Okay, Alan, did I cover that for you? Alan, I am. And then James, did Scott find out? Not sure. So anyway, the oh boy, we don't see heavy selling and no high liquidity above. Is this bullish in your view? Well, we're looking for a real simple thing, and 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 a continuation pattern. So if there's heavy selling and no high liquidity above, yeah, that can be bullish as well. Let me explain why. Is because on a, let's say it's moving down and there's no liquidity back up above, it just means there's no interest. And a lot of times in a trending market, typically what you see is on the, you'll see lots of liquidity on the bid, kind of like just like this. And look on the offer in here, there's not a lot, right? When it's trending down, there's typically not a lot. There's no interest. The market usually pulls back and just exhausts out and continues, and then you find stop runs moving it and kicking it off, and the continuation move to the downside, right? And then that's the structure and the trend. Very, very typical. Okay, not always, but that's what in general it looks like. So yeah, I would say that would be bearish, or whatever it is, direction you're looking for. Oh boy. How to make the switch? Yeah, demo trader, great question. All right, so by understanding price action, well, I'm trying to do it with and candlesticks and indicators, which, in my opinion, like all of these kinds of indicators, etc., they were designed and developed to try to put some sort of clarity around the order flow and looking for direction. So that's this looks like it might break out here. Yeah, I mean, we just see this, we're looking at that strong buy volume here. This is where we'd look for it to go first. We'd be right up here around 61 or 2. Okay, maybe here as well, this little structure here. So 56. But yeah, I mean, it tries to make up for and give some sort of insight because of the lack of transparency in the charts. And now I think we're all hung up on that stuff and have learned it kind of in reverse. It's this stuff here that makes up all of those indicators, makes up all of those charts. So there's all sorts of ways to take a look at it, demo trader. One is you can take a look at candlestick patterns. Okay, so you probably know your candlestick patterns. This is 5 minute, I think. Yeah. All right, so for example here, right? Well, look at all these wicks up here. Look at the strong move here on the sell side. Now we're kind of above that strong move, right? Now, and we see some, pretty strong candles in here. Strong candle, pause, strong candle. This would be also, this would right here would be giving you your breakout signal, right? Somewhere right around here, right around 50 right here at the figure. Okay, well, basically, what's the volume look like in here? It's not bad. It looks pretty good actually. Okay, on that buy side. Okay, so then based on this candlestick pattern in here, okay, and this strong volume within that candle, you'd look for a continuation on up to about 60, right? Does that make sense? Is it, just going through your candlestick pattern here. Now this hasn't finished on this candle here, but we got to go through the different scenarios in the order flow here. And what would it look like if it failed here? We know what it would look like if it continued here. All right, so we know that part. And you can see that, what kind of insight we're getting around these swings up here. Now we're looking for a continuation here. It looks better now for that continuation. Okay, in this candle compared to the volume within that period here. Okay, so now we'd be looking for the continuation on up to 60. All right, now the opposite scenario, because we got to go through it, right? Because right now we're looking for strong buy volume, and there it is. Okay, so we're looking for the continuation. Okay, so now you can wrap, and now you understand some of these previous charting ideas here by candlesticks, and you're able to put that within the order flow, okay, and look for something that's higher probability to play out. Okay, and this is turning into that bull flag pattern as well here, guys. Okay, so here, and this answers the other question, was what does a low volume pullback look like? Here it is. Here's our strong buy, and here's our selling in here. Okay, so and it pulled back to, let's look at where it pulled back to. We always look at these transactions into liquidity, and also these little nooks in here. This little area in here looks perfect for a pullback, and indeed that's exactly where it went. Okay, all right, so now we got to go through the opposite scenario though, right? So what does it look like? Okay, so the candlestick still hasn't closed. It's just about to close and start a new one. Okay, what if this is a failure though, a failed breakout? What does that look like? Okay, because we know what the continuation looks like. That's pretty easy. Okay, well, let's go through the failure. All right, well, I would look for sell volume down here at 47.5. Okay, so let's draw that up. This is we've been drawing up these pivots in here and what they look like. Okay, so it would be down here, and then what we'd look for down here is big sell dots. And do I have something for the ellipse? I do, an O. Okay, great. So I'd be looking for that on the sell side below 47.5. Now, if you're bearish, you can even, and you start to see some exhaustion up here on the buy side, you can even get involved in like probably right in here on these pullbacks, and you're not looking for it to continue. Okay, and you can trade it even down to your 47.25 or 47.5 here. Okay, and then look for continuation. Take some off. You're looking for, reduce some risk. And then you're looking for the continuation. You're looking for those big red dots to confirm that that failed breakout here on your candlestick pattern. Okay, so different ways to slice and dice it here, and that's where you guys like. It's really your trading plan. What you're comfortable with, what you want to do. That's where you'll get the insight here. Well, it'll go along with your insight, something that matches up with the way that you trade. All right, well, we can continue on here with our candlestick pattern. Basically, it's just pulled back and came back up here. And what about, now what does this candle here tell us, and about the volume between these periods here? Let's take a look. Okay, I see sell volume in here. Okay, I don't see a whole lot of buying in here. And let's look at all of this volume in here and look at the bars down here compared to previous bars. Strong move is still to the upside here. Okay, it's just chopping around in this area right now. All right, okay guys, all right, so let's see. We're not seeing our buyers yet trying to support this stronger move in this price action in the last 5-minute period. Okay, so let's see if we can get our sellers come back down here. Again, this, we were looking for it over here. I'm looking for it again, same thing over here though. Okay, and let's see if we can get our sellers here at 47.5, and then the break of that area, and then right on down to probably our line here at 40 that we drew up, and liquidity is there as well. Okay, there's our big red dots. Let's see if they can continue down. and we should see a nice stop run coincide as well. Okay, so let's see, demo trader. All right, so does that help you understand this here? So you know how to start to apply what you're reading in the order flow here with more traditional charting tools here, like candlesticks. Okay, because we saw actually the breakout, and then now we're starting to witness the failed breakout. Okay, so we're actually getting both out of this here. Okay, just looking for a continuation on that sell side here to complete that down to 40. There's some, some reasons for taking some risk off right here, to be honest. Okay, this is where that strong move initiated here. Okay, and let's see if we can get now through it on that sell side and into 40. Okay, so anyway, like look at this here. Move, move, move. Okay, move lower, pull back, continuation. That's what we're looking for. So here's our strong move, pull back, continuation, and then this pivot point here is rather critical here for this small time frame here. There's our move, 40. Okay, now this is kind of tricky stuff in here too. Now we got the right reading on it. Okay, so this one played out pretty nicely. Okay, and anyway, demo trader, let me know if this makes more sense now to you. And now the bigger time frame, again, let's just zoom out here. See how we can take this information here? Let's look at a 15-minute candlestick chart. Okay, and let's match that up with our 15-minute candlestick chart on Rhythmic here. So this has just been a pullback so far in this strong downtrend here. Okay, and this is what your failed breakout looks like on your 15-minute chart. We're back in the range right now. Right. So now we're again still looking for really strong sell volume right around here on this chart, around 34. Okay, to push it through that kind of high. There'll be a high volume node in here around 34, I imagine, and then we're looking for them to push it down into not only the lows here but to break it. Okay, and we're still looking for that 18, to 3600, the figure. And then bottom of the range from this action over here around 87. Okay, we can even go and mark those areas up. Here's 3600. Our 18 is somewhere around here. And our 37, is that what I said? It's the bottom of this range. 83, 3583. Somewhere around there. All right. Nothing from Demo Trader. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful for you guys. That was for you. And oh, you're welcome. Okay, there you are. All right. So again, now we saw this move unfold on the higher time or lower time frame only right now, right? Okay, but now we're taking this move on this lower time frame that's kind of, it was a bullish move, and then we talked about like failed breakout. Now it's a bearish move, and below this like kind of pivot here, we saw a pullback continuation. We got our move to 40. Now we're looking at our higher time frame move. We're stepping back, okay, and we're looking for that failed breakout here. Now continuation and push by that sell side through our 34 level, and then continuation on down into our 18 and 3600 and 83 level, something like that. You were following. Okay, good. I just I want to I want to answer your question while kind of using you as an example for others, because it's a great question, so everyone can learn from it. Yeah, careful with this. Again, remember we have a reason here. This was another pivot we're looking at here, and like this is why I said we need to see that heavy sell volume through this kind of 34 area. It's basically 35. Really need to see it. This is that other pivot area here with all this back and forth and mumbo jumbo here. We're looking for clarity in here, and during these webinars we've seen during this time frame, it's been anything but clear in some cases on these higher outlooks here. Here's our sellers, guys, looking for the continuation, looking for them to keep on moving this down. 30 is the next level, 25. Higher time frame is our 18, and then back to 3600. All right, so now there's a caveat. We got to go through the other side of this here. That's scenario one. Okay, it seems like the most plausible one right now because it's within line of the higher time frame. All right, so we got to go through the other scenario though, and that would look like this. Okay, that would look like not these buyers over here or sellers here. We'd be looking for the big green dots above 35, something like that. Okay, that's the opposite scenario. Primary scenario is a move to the downside. Yeah, thanks for asking that. The demo trader. This is a nice thing to cover. Oh, okay, the CVD filter. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go over that. McLoco. I've been missing you guys. Sorry about this. McLoco as well. CVD and correlation. Yeah, we talked about McLoco. Also looking at your Nasdaq as well. At the same time, to coincide with your outlook, because really be very careful with your divergences. Look where that volume is trading within that divergence. That's really critical. It'll help you make your divergence trades into much higher probability. Are they happening? Is that volume consistent, or is it happening at the top up here only? right? That's where it can be trapped volume, and you're not going to get, you know, your continuation if you get sellers on the other side, right? So that's where, you know, you really want to look at it. Here's some divergence in here, but you know, be careful. You just be really careful with this, because here you're making there's more sellers in here, right? It's because the buying happened in here, and then a lot of selling started to come in, and then this buying was not as strong as this buying here. Therefore, you have a divergence here. Okay, so yeah, the divergence, you want to be careful. You look for especially some selling down here. That will be a good tip, right? And then a lack of buying up here. That would be really good divergence. Okay, because then you're looking for sellers to at least retest down here. That'll make it much more higher probability that you'll get at least a push down to the downside, or at least down to where that selling was previously. All right. Yeah, I hope that helps. And looking at your correlated markets, that's going to help as well. Okay, guys, we have a European close coming up here. So this is another reason why, I mean, like during this period, that it can be kind of tricky as well, up to about 11:30. And then a lot of times after 11:30, you might get that kind of clear move, after, you know, Europe has kind of shored up their positions. Okay, there was something else I was going to mention, McLoco. I forgot what it was here. Oh yeah, let's look at this cumulative volume delta. This was another question. We'll go through this, guys. This is a great tool to. I really like this one. Go to your cumulative volume delta settings, just right click on it, or you can also come up to studies configuration up here, click on that, and then here in your cumulative volume delta, let's add in, I'll go with session range, and see CVD up here. This is one. Click on the plus tab, add another one, and we'll call it large volume. Okay, and we'll create it. It has these two. We'll just make it both purple here, or yellow. We'll make it yellow, both of them. All right, there we go. Let's create it. Okay, now we're in this. See how we have two now here. All right, so they're both equal right now. We're going to make a distinction. We're going to filter here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this one. It's underlined here. That's what we want to look at. And then we're going to put in a minimum size in here. Maximum, volume, minimum. Okay, we want minimum. And we're going to look at minimum of, let's say, 10. Okay. So I filtered out. So that this here, the green line is for every single trade. In fact, let's even filter this one again. Okay, I'm going to put a maximum on that one. Well, we'll just make a new one here, and we'll call it small volume. And we'll make that one purple, red, or whatever it is. Okay, now let's filter for this one. So we'll put in a max volume here of 10. Okay. Now let's make it smaller. Let's make it like ones and twos. We'll go with ones and twos. We've got a new tool coming out, guys, that's going to show you pretty amazing data about who's trading what. Okay, so now let's start to look at these lines in here, and start to compare. This one's looking really similar. Hold on a minute, let's go back here. Yeah, it's really similar to the regular CVD, and that makes good sense. Actually, I'm going to delete it. All right, so we're just looking at ones and twos here, and we're looking at tens. All right, so and let's start to compare. All right, so well, you know, a lot of ones and twos buying here. Okay, right in here. But what are the larger players doing? Boy, it needs a different axis here, to be honest. Let's see if we can do that. No, I cannot. All right, well, let's go back. We'll go back to our regular CVD. Okay, and just create that. Get rid of the small one. And we'll create this, we'll make it blue. Okay, light blue or teal. All right, so there we go. Right, now we want to compare and contrast. Right, so yeah, lots of ones and twos lifting this market right now. Larger players, the larger orders, they're not really doing too much right now. We're not seeing much. Okay, so you know, this move to the upside here, like this was that secondary scenario here. We finally got up here, and we didn't really see up here though. Note the buying started down here, and then in here was kind of no man's land, some back and forth in here. We're looking for our big buyers in this area here. They're coming in up here though. All right, so let's zoom in here. Now CVD, the ones and twos crossed over our 10 line here. God, you can even play like almost a mean reversion trade here. Okay, if you start to see this some larger transactions in here, looking for it to come right back down to this liquidity at 37.50 here. Okay, these are just some considerations for it. We showed this when our CVD first came out. We had this functionality. That was like probably 6 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's comparing and contrasting by filtering the players in here. Yeah, in fact, I'm not getting too much out of this 10 lot here. Let's move it down. Okay, to 5. Maybe we'll get more out of it. And we're not really getting too much out of that one either. Okay, we're looking for transactions of more than at minimum of 5 or more. Maybe we can go to chart range here. Maybe that helps. Yeah, that might help. All right, let's do this. There's another thing we can do in here. We're going to reset it. Reset now. And also for the ones and twos. Hold on. Okay, we should see something now. There we go. Okay, so we can compare and contrast in here. Okay, so not seeing a whole lot of big traders. There's some bigger traders selling and back buying. Okay, we can probably filter for this one a little bit more. Sorry guys, I wanted to show this to you, and I'm trying to get something out of it at the moment. We'll come back into our regular CVD and then filter for a max of like 2. Okay. So see how that we're starting to see, there we go. We're starting to see some the smaller traders are they're kind of all over the place. They're selling. Now they're buying. That's going to be a stop run. It's going to be a nice little stop run. There it is. Okay, so the CVD picked up the stop run on that. Okay, there's some selling there. Failed to move it. All right, well, let's see if the let's see if buyers come in right here. There they are. All right, so we got some buyers here on the larger picture here. Okay, right in there. All right, so let's see if now, just because they started to buy in here, the thing we'd look for is, can we get back up above here, 41 on buy volume. And we're not. Now we should see some larger players getting involved in here. They should be trading it back here, back up to about 41. And they're buying here again. Guys, this is another reason I to be honest, I just don't like fiddling around with cumulative volume delta. We're trying to filter in, and we're just not seeing a whole bunch here, but we're trying to filter between larger and smaller players in CVD and compare and contrast, and look for the players that can actually move the market compared to the ones and twos in here that may or may not move the market. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so yeah, we're looking for that move back up to 41 here, and then maybe we can get a breakout above 41. Okay, based off of only CVD, here's what we're looking for in that scenario. Just CVD. Okay, this is the European close, 11:30 right here, that moved to the downside. And that's why we had that large buying. Yeah, play around with it, McLoco. You can, in the resets as well. You know, there's a lot of features and functionality in Bookmap. This is one of them in CVD. All right, let's go back here. We don't even know what unfolded here. So where are we? Well, we're still stuck in this big range here. Okay, so higher time frame picture, this is turned into just a big range at the moment. Still, the momentum here today, there's no question, is to the downside still. Guys, this is where we look at this as being maybe accumulation or distribution here. Okay, if it's distribution, we're looking for a continuation of the bear flag to the downside, the markdown period. Okay, if they're accumulating in here, we're looking for to pull back up into some of these areas here. Okay, for the day. And this is where we can look at, you can look at cumulative volume delta. You can also look at your imbalances. You can look at your structure and your volume within your structure in here to give you some insight. All right, let me get to the questions in here. YouTube. Well, we haven't missed much, that's for sure. Demoing that was good because it's just been rather choppy in here. All right, now here I would love to see a ton of selling right here at 36.30. Let's see if we can get it. See a nice little move here down. Let's see if we can get a pullback and then continuation. Okay, there's our pullback. Okay, now careful here. Okay, and now we're looking for a continuation. Sell side. Right, move, pullback, continuation. Looking for our 25 level. Okay, and that will be low of the day here, 25. So the play here is the move down to the bottom of the range here, or low of the day. Okay, it is a low volume pullback as well. Not a great one. There's some volume, buy volume in here. Okay, but compare, and then compare. Now it actually did it. Right, so your flag pattern there, you would at least take some profit in there. And you can even put in your measured move. Hey, the only reason, guys, that you know me, I mean, I haven't gone over measured moves and stuff like that for a long time. I'm just trying to reach more people to understand order flow because I'm not a fan of fibs at all. There is something to measured moves though. It's because of the market structure and people getting stopped out in certain areas, or buying pressure being too not having enough pressure to go further because at certain areas it's too low for more sellers, or it's too high for more buyers and in the auction process, right? So that's why some of these measured moves can work. ATRs, they work. They can work because of some of these reasons here. Guys, still looking for our move to the downside here into 25 and continuation into our lower levels here. Okay, 17 and a half or 18, whatever it was, and then 3600. Okay, and then 83 down here. All right, seems to be working out pretty well. Now, like I said, if you're looking, and this is not a trade recommendation, if you're looking for that continuation down at least to test the lows here, consider taking some off and managing your trade there. All right, so that you took some profit out of the market. If you want to roll the dice and look for a bigger move, or you're trading on a higher time frame and you're not rolling the dice, your stop is way up here someplace, then you're looking for the continuation of the move, and that's that. And you know your risk. You're properly managing your risk. We'll talk more about risk management, I think, over the coming weeks. I wanted to start with just understanding who's in control in areas. Today wasn't a very good example because we went through all of this here. 10 o'clock we started, and we talked about this being the data here, setting the tone and the downward move, and then all this back and forth in here. All right. So yeah, still looking for the well, we see a buying tail here, right? Okay, another buying tail here, but your candlestick, you can see where it started off here, and it's still bearish. You do see a wick in here, came all the way back down, and you see a bit of buying, but we're looking for just a pullback and then continuation in the candlestick pattern. Yeah, and that looks like it's just about to fail, in fact, and come right up to 40 here. Okay, so this is why we want to reduce some of that risk along the way here. If you were, looking for this move down here, don't take a loss. Stop at break even, look for your continuation, take some profits along the way. Your bull pattern in here did pan out. It did give a profit. Okay, now you could even be looking for the opposite side of it, but we're looking for the bigger picture move here. This is what I'm talking about. But we're looking for the bigger picture move. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it's going to do it. All right, look for these buyers to take it up to 40 here. Looks good. They even got some sellers on the ropes here. Okay, but in the bigger picture, we're still looking for the move lower. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't play some of these along the way. Just depends on your time frame. It depends on your risk profile. Yeah, and then that would have been like a scratch trade as well. Okay, it should work immediately. If it doesn't, something's wrong. All right, let's see it if we can get our sellers here at our 30 level where it broke out from here. And this would be a new kind of pivot area. It's kind of turned into a pivot already. All right, so now we got some sellers here, right? This was a failed breakout here. All right, sellers have control here if they want to take it on down to 25. So that would be we're back to our primary scenario here. They do. They have it. There we go. All right, so now we can go through this trade as well. It's not a recommendation. It's just an example of right around here, this kind of 29 level here. it would be where you're looking for it to carry on lower. Okay, your stop would already be at break even on this, and you're looking for the continuation now. Okay, for that move into not only 25, not only 20, but our 17 and a half, which has no liquidity around it. So basically 20 or maybe this 15 level. Look for that. All right, so here's 25. Okay, it has not gotten through that yet. Okay, so be careful here. Consider taking some off at 25 here, right? Because so from 29 to 25, you made 4. Stop to break even, take some off, and maybe you just got stopped out here at break even. Okay, you can look for the same setup again here as well. Okay, this is why here, and this is where Bookmap does a really nice job in here. They absorbed all of this. This is why I was saying be careful at this area. It's because of this liquidity in here. They couldn't trade through 25. They're buying. Look at how much traded here. My God, well, over 1,464 contracts into this high liquidity here. Obviously, this is going to be an iceberg. Here we go. Huge iceberg there. We know that because if we look at this here, how much is at this price level of at 25? There's only 290 contracts there, but look what traded, right? It's got to be an iceberg. It is. It's an iceberg. So we want, and they couldn't get through it, right? So now we're coming right back down again, and they're still here. Okay, now it doesn't mean that they can't trade through it. Okay, but we definitely noted it here. All right, so that's where you reduce your risk. Okay, now it looks like they want to trade through it. And there they go. Okay, and that would be, well, basically you'd have to start to see it trade through it and then to carry on through. Okay, down to our 20 level here. All right, but at least you reduced some risk. You took some out. And then I don't know, there's different ways to play this one here, because we see this all the time. The original iceberg, the original absorption, complete absorption here at 25, and then it trading through this and then seeing a big stop run on the other side as well. So how to play that is like maybe boy, if you put a sell stop in here, you would have been slipped all the way back down probably to here. You would have been part of the stop run. So that's not good. Yeah, that's a tough play. How to manage that one on the breakdown. Yeah, not sure. One thing you could do is you could put in we've talked about it a lot of times. If you're in here and you took some here, right now your break even is on the original position is right here at 29, right? But what you could do is now place the other half of your trade up here, okay, a little bit lower, like right here. That would be your original break even on the overall position here. Okay, so you'd still be in it basically. If you did get stopped out here, you got out at like break even plus a tick or two. That's it, right? It's up to you, how you want to manage it. This is a good way to capture these bigger moves. Okay, it's also a good way to make nothing on the trade, but you still managed your risk. Okay, you gave it a chance to run, and that's it's up to you if you want to trade that style. If you want to go home on a lot of days empty-handed, okay, versus capturing a bigger move, and then those days you go home with a profit, you have a big profit. right, let me see here. Let's get to these questions. Sell it all. It's going to 6. I think it's going to below that. I still kind of like this 83 down here. We have our reasons, you know. Just reduce some risk along the way. You know, the figure here looks pretty good, and then bottom of this range looks pretty good too. You know, the other area that I'd be looking for, if it can get down below the bottom of that range, would be probably right here, 57 or 35.57. You know, something like that. David, to get your cumulative volume delta to be less flat, yeah, sure. Let's show you that. So you can show each one, or when you show them both together, they're sharing the same. Yeah, here's your larger players right in here, right? But you're showing the same axis here, and if it's showing the same axis, then you know, if you don't have too many of these larger players transacting and you have a lot of these 1s and 2s transacting, your yellow line is going to look kind of flat. What you could do is just deselect your other you know, the 1s and 2s here, and then that should show a nicer line here. Okay, so we'll zoom in here, and like we should see, once we get this out of the range, then we should see a little more action in here. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, and go to chart range. See how chart range immediately, it's for this viewable range in here. Right, so you should get more out of it then. I would advocate really, and I you know, encourage you guys not to play around so much with the CVD settings and go through all these different studies in CVD. Instead, go through your studies on the large volume and within the structure. Okay, so this is, and that's what we started the webinar off with. This, see how, look how it's just dominated everything so far. These up here, you know, here's your sell signal in here. You know, look for, this is like you can look at it in so many different ways. Like, you know, here's your trend line in here, and then here's your break below it. Here's your pivot in here. Here's your break below it. Here's the sellers coming in. Look for the bottom of the range, take some off. Look for the continuation. You avoid all of, you know precisely what's happening in here. Precisely, it's all here in Bookmap, instead of fooling around with cumulative volume delta, to try to get some insight, because it's an easier signal to look at. Understand this instead. I think you'll get so much more out of it. Once you understand this, you can come back to your cumulative volume delta if you want, but it's not necessary. It's not really necessary. You'll probably be able to just kind of wean yourself off of looking at indicators altogether. When you start to understand the transactions and the limit buy and sell orders, the auction within these areas here. Okay, so strong advocate of that. Let's see if we can get our continuation, guys. Now we're looking for our trending market. It's in the markdown period. Looking for the move down into, we've already gone through our 17 or 18 level, looking for the continuation. All right, let's see here. Captain Price, God, I just can't keep up with all your comments here. Oh boy, if the bears can't take it lower, this is what you're going to see. Right, you're going to see probably a stream of buyers come right back up to here, first, okay, to 26 or so, right where, you know, we just drew up this structure here, okay. And then what you're going to see, and it's going to be so distinctive, you're going to see this, you know, something like this. You're going to see some buyers, pretty big green dots, take it up to here. You might get a little bit of a pullback, a low volume pullback, maybe to about here, okay. And then you're going to see this buying come right back in, and then here you're going to see we've got smaller time frame traders already buying it. This is where you're going to see the, you know, really big green dots most likely, okay. You look for that. Look for them on the bid in the order book. Look for them on the bid in the order book to be getting filled. They already got filled here. They already got filled there. We want to see more filled in here, okay. And that'll be an order flow shift, okay. And you'd be looking for that, and then you'd be looking for them to even to bid up in these areas here, something like this. You'll see the order book kind of chasing, right. If there's any orders here on the oops, if there's any orders here on the offer, then you want to see them, like, as price comes up, they'll pull, okay. And then they would pull before it comes up and touches them, okay. And these a clear path for these buyers to take it higher, okay. So it's the same kind of stuff again and again. It's just order flow, and it has to be kind of the same. It has to be some sort of variation of this. It has to be. That's why this can give you such good insight. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel so we can bring you more education, cover more things, answer your questions, cover anything in particular you guys are looking for. We're happy to do it. That's what we're here for, and go through all these different ideas in order flow. Now we have other traders in here as well, like Tom B. He's already started. He's already going. So go to his webinar now. He's going to be going through volume profile in detail. It's a very specific way of trading. You guys know what volume profile is. If you don't, go to Tom's webinar and learn all about it. There's a lot of profile traders out there. It's this over here that you're looking at, and it's just a different way of trading, you know, to start to understand where there's lots of trading activity. That's what the profile is showing you, like bell-shaped curves, you know, statistical or deviations, etc. Understanding, like, there's not a whole lot of trading down here, right, at this low here. Therefore, you'll find buyers, if those buyers come in, trade it back into areas where they can transact, okay, your high volume nodes, okay. It's these, and you can also look at those sellers trying to move it away from those high volume nodes on size and strength, right. That's why we look at the strong move away from areas, and we want to look at and compare strong moves, right. So it's the order flow within the volume profile. So anyway, he's a volume profile trader. You'll learn a lot about that once you understand the fundamentals and the market mechanics here, what actually makes up this price activity here, right. It is the orders. It is always the orders that make up all of this. It is the participation of the traders, the transactions, and the bid and the offer in here that make up all of these patterns, all of these things in here. And then the patterns are just giving you insight to the majority of the traders. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now, if we can understand the majority of traders and we're looking for a follow through in these scenarios, we have an edge, okay. It's something you need to go back and you need to study. But like that's why you look at some of these moves in here. And we're looking for, like, for example, our strong move, low volume pullback followed by strong move. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. And it's a good understanding of those players. There's just still not a lot of sellers. It's just taking a break and then look for the continuation. All right, so yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, really appreciate the comments in here. We'll be back on Monday. We'll go through it. Have a great weekend, everybody. And yeah, start marking up your charts in order flow. Start to look at them. Don't worry about CVD too much. All right, come back and revisit CVD later. And then put this understanding of these transactions within your CVD later. And then it'll open up a whole different world for you. You'll see things in such a different manner. At least that's how it worked for me. It was like, wow, this is magical to start to understand that it's really the orders that are moving this market here, and how these markets actually move. Like if we zoom in here, we look at these areas, we understand at the most binary levels here. Like look at that cluster of selling. Same idea. What if we get above that cluster of selling and we see buyers up here? Well, these guys are trapped. We look for a stop run to the upside, right? So did we get it? Let's see. Did we get a stop run right there? Probably a little one. No. Or icebergs. I mean, all of this stuff comes in secondary, but we need to understand really what makes the market move here. It's all in here at the most binary level here, understanding these mechanics that move the market. And then all of that information can then be extrapolated to your much higher time frames. And then here we go. Here's that move. Then you can mix in volume profile. You can mix in your patterns. Okay, it'll make so much more sense, so much more clarity. All right, so yeah, again, give us a like there if you can. Subscribe to the channel. We offer this kind of education. It's rather unique. Others don't. We want to continue offering it to you. All right, thanks for coming. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll catch up with you on Monday.